All right. Hello and welcome everyone to this episode of Boomer Degen. I'm your host Biz, coming at you live with Andy, co-founder of Crypto Hub HQ. Super apologies for today. I am a dad with three kids, and dude, I put my kids to sleep. I put myself to sleep. So, anyways, look, that I don't know if that was degenerate, but anyhow, look, I'm really sorry. If only this was like back on the East Coast time, then if that was 3 hours ahead, we'd be on time. But I'm hell super late. But better late than never. And we are here. Maybe at the end of the show, I'm not gonna say same time, same channel. I'm gonna say same channel, but who knows? But anyhow,
At some point tomorrow.
yeah. So we will get it done. How about that?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, so why it was important. I mean, we had the option. One option was we didn't have to come on, but the other option was, how can we not? Because today was
We have to
quite the
come on.
day. Exactly,
Yeah,
because with the whole thing going on with DeepSeek and all this kind of stuff, and what's happening with the market, and like how these two are related, are actually affecting or are related, is actually quite
yeah,
interesting. On top of that, so market's down as well. So of course, there's a lot of questions. So
yeah.
hopefully we can
Well,
provide some clarity and answers.
while you were snoozing away, um,
I had
I've
an
been doing quite.
epiphany. No, I'm just joking.
I mean, I would say it's very rare I make sweeping statements, but I would say today the world changed, and with very good reason. Now, I've known about DeepSeek for some time.
Hmm.
It's not an unknown thing, but it has to be said that DeepSeek is just to let everybody know the initial impact. It is now the number one downloaded app across the world on App Store and all the other app stores that are going around. It's overtaken OpenAI's ChatGPT already on the
Wow.
App Store. So and even though part of their terms and conditions say, if asked by the Chinese government, well, we will pass on your IP data and whatever data. But to be honest, I think that's just um, if America asked OpenAI to pass it on, they would. If the UK government asked the OpenAI on, they would. Europe would, right?
Hmm.
So if governments ask any big, large tech companies for that, and the reason I know that is I used to work for enterprise level companies, gathering people's personal information, and part of the reason we had all these protections were, and I've forgotten the phrases now, is because we are duty bound to keep certain information at an enterprise level in case the government comes calling, right? So although they're saying China, China, terrible China, the West is absolutely the same on this shit.
Mm.
But in any event, most people terms and conditions they don't read it, right? They just but let's get into it because there's a lot to get into as to why this has had such an impact on the AI industry
Hmm.
and why the entire market, and I don't just mean crypto, the entire market is down. Um, so you can see here, we're still getting alerts with all kinds of stuff coming in, but let's go. We can quickly look
Mm.
at Bitcoin. I don't
Nice.
think Bitcoin is the important thing today, because Bitcoin has been affected and the market has been affected, particularly AI coins, been affected by this entire thing. So Bitcoin did go beneath the POC, which was the break of structure before. It's climbed back above it and it's holding its own again now. But that's not the big news. So I'm going to skip all of this because we're down here. We're back down here, 53. But the big news is that uh, it wipes $2.5 billion off the AI agent market, but that is nothing compared to what it's knocked off other things. If we, oh, this is, I'm going to say, I might have these in the wrong order, but let me go here. Nvidia's stock dropped 17%. I think it's maybe dropped more now, but it's like well over £500 million lost off their market cap. That's just Nvidia, right? They've really got down. But you know, why is this? Why is it taking the world by storm? And as this Mark Andreessen said,
Horowitz.
he's a big investor, isn't he?
Yeah.
He said DeepSeek R1, and I've been using it today, and I'm going to show you some stuff with it. R1 is the most amazing and impressive breakthroughs I've ever seen, and it's open source. Right? And it's free, right? I mean, this is the biggie. You pay $20 for Claude Anthropic. You pay $20 for OpenAI. This is free, and it's equally as good. And I'm going to go back to their papers in a minute when we've just finished doing this. And what's interesting is that DeepSeek came out of this company that already existed, this Chinese names you can see here. I can't attempt to pronounce it. It was what they call a quant company, many years already, super smart guys with top math background. They happen to own a lot of GPUs for trading and mining purposes in crypto. And DeepSeek is a side project for squeezing GPUs. Now, in China, they're not allowed to have America has stopped China from having the fastest GPU chips from NVIDIA. So NVIDIA built a chip specifically that they could sell, which is a much cheaper one. And apparently it, if I go back to this paper that I was going to show you here, it took 2.7 million hours of GPU hours to actually do the training on these smaller ones, these smaller GPUs. ChatGPT took 60 million, right? And so they did it. The whole thing was built for like $5.5 million, whereas now they're talking about billions to build these huge data farms for AI in America, right?
Yeah.
And even Trump came out today after he'd done the big announcement with Sam Altman and all of these and said, hey, this is a wake-up call for America. And you know what I found very interesting is this takes me back to when we first wrote computer games, when we were writing Star Wars and we had 16K of memory and we had to fit an entire game in with sound effects, gameplay, the graphics, all of that kind of stuff. When you're limited on what you can do, you innovate. And what they've done here is they've algorithmically got the thing so fast that it needs so much less power that you could run it. I think you can actually run it on a MacBook. They can run it on a MacBook. So whereas you needed all these huge NVIDIA GPUs, you don't.
Wow.
And you can do it much, much cheaper, right? And the output of all of this. Now, this is V3. Now, keep your mind on, this is deep V3, right? There's another step to this. So V3 this is the blue stripy lines, and then you've got Claude Sonnet on the far right, and then you've got GPT-4o, which is the kind of darker brownish one.
Yeah.
It's outperforming that. There's only Claude Sonnet that actually competes with it on certain things. However, this is just V3. When you move to their V1, which is a reasoning model like O1 is on OpenAI, where it actually thinks, you give it a problem and it thinks it through and it challenges itself before it responds.
Yeah.
It's kicking the shit out of the other AIs. I mean, like literally on math, on programming, on everything, it's kicking the hell out of the other AIs. So I thought, well, do you know what? I'm going to put it to the test. So what I did was, if I go here, I put it next to Claude here, and I gave it a problem, and I said, okay, I'm going to teach you about this trading strategy that we've got, and I'm going to show you all of the queries. I'm going to send you a file, which is all.
I'm interested in this.
Right, and I want you to learn about how we do things. So it came back initially, it was thinking about it, and I'm looking through this file, and then so I said, now you've done that, I want you to write me a query that finds order blocks, right? Order blocks that have just been generated. And what you can do here is you can go back up here and you'll see it's thinking. It thought about it for 29 seconds. But as it's thinking, it writes it out. And it actually corrects itself and it goes, so now I'm translating in this SQL. And then it goes, we need to do this. And then one further up, it goes, no, we can't do that. I'm wrong. We can't do that because that'll be too slow. And this is real time and needs to be fast. So we need to rethink our thinking. And it just keeps doing this till eventually it gives you an output. And it gave me this, which is quite a long SQL statement. It's not actually doing a perfect job, but then again, Claude or OpenAI wouldn't do a perfect job to start with. You'd go through a couple of iterations, right? Where it comes up with all kinds of things, right? Swing detection. Now originally it went back like 1,000 candles to find order blocks way in the past. And I'm like, no. I want them now. Like just what's happening right now. And it was going, okay, we can't do this anymore. And it really thought about it. And he even said, you'd be better off if you improve the indexes within the database. This would speed it up. I mean, it was giving me this. So I wrote, this is great. Or the query was too slow and I had to stop it. I shared it some Pine code of an order block, to how the order block algorithm is. And I said, I only shared you with this as a reference, not to rewrite it for me. And then it said, okay, the user is having trouble with the previous query. They mentioned it was too slow and had to stop it. They want a query that alerts them when a new order block has just been formed. First, I need to understand what an order block is according to the provided Pine code, then goes through and figures all that out. The scripts use a look back of 10 to find swings, and it just goes through and thinks it all through. And then it just goes, understood, right? Let's create a lightning fast order block detection query. It just spits it out.
Wow.
And it's incredible. And you're like, so I've checked it, but it's not perfect yet. But it's equally as good as Claude Sonnet at programming and understanding. And what's interesting is Claude Sonnet and OpenAI, they sometimes, in whatever language you're working in this case it's SQL, they'll get a mistake where there's a syntax error. This hasn't had a single syntax error.
Wow.
On the query it's written so far. Not one. Not one.
That is impressive. That is impressive.
Yeah. It's staggering. So there's been something like $1 trillion knocked off. The NASDAQ is down, everything's down because all these big investors in the AI companies, they were hoping to get these huge returns. Now they're going, hang on a minute, this has shaken up the entire industry, right? And what we thought we had to invest to be able to do something, we probably don't need to do it. Now, I will, it's very rare you'll find me doing this, but I have to praise Trump. His comments were, this is really good. It's a wake-up call for us. And if that means we can do it with less money and get the same results, that can only be a win. Because he knows that it's open source. You can download it on GitHub. Literally download it. Now, you can't do that with OpenAI. You can't do that with Anthropic. So all these people that are saying to you, China, terrible people, you can see the entire source code. But you can't for OpenAI and you can't for Claude. So, so all I'm saying is this has had a huge shakeup. Everything is down on the back of it. And that's why Bitcoin fell. As this information was coming out, not just Bitcoin, everything fell. And the AI coins are as flat as a dodo, right? I mean, they're all down, but they're all down. Everything's down, right? So yes, a very interesting day. Somebody described it in one news article today as potentially a Sputnik moment. Now you might be too young for this, Biz, and some of the viewers might be too young for this. But when the Russians put Sputnik into space, it really taught the Americans that they weren't the leaders in the space race. And they really had to step up. And that's what led to the man going to the moon in 1969, right? And it was a Sputnik moment.
I so wanted to do this. No, but
What went to the moon?
Yeah.
They did go to the moon, and I'll tell you why. I watched it live on television.
Okay. Yeah.
So I watched it live on TV. So I was allowed to stay. I was only a little boy, but I was allowed to stay up late, and I watched it on live television. It's like one of those moments that you cannot miss, right?
Yeah,
Even
yeah, yeah.
my father realized this was a moment you cannot miss. But they did go to the moon. So anyway, I know there's a lot of the Earth is flat and all that bullshit,
Yeah.
but it
Well, the
ain't
rocket
that.
returned to the space station. Remember that.
The rocket returned to the space station. Yeah, I mean, anyway, the whole thing is, it's the same. It's the same way with these flat earthers that say the final experiment that just took place, taking them to the South Pole to see the 24-hour sun. They were desperately trying to prove that it's not true. Well, it is true. Come on, get over yourself. It's the way it is. Um, so otherwise, what is real, right? If none of that's real, maybe we're not real.
Yeah.
Um, so the whole market has been down. I mean, there have been trades coming in. I only took one trade today because I was being busy playing with DeepSeek and stuff like that. But I was actually stopped out. I took a 40x trade, but it just went against me. My stop was just too tight, really, and Bitcoin was just. I thought it was about to go up. It seemed to be coming off a fair value gap, but it just started dropping into it. So I think I lost $20, $23 or something. So I didn't care. But anyway, there have been alerts coming in, and I've not looked at the latest one, outperforming BTC. This Bell coin, which I can't trade,
Mm.
has been doing quite well, but I can't trade it because it's not on an exchange that I use.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at bullish, OM again has come in. That was in a few days ago, wasn't it? OM.
OM, yeah. OM was
Yeah,
over the weekend on
yeah. So
Saturday.
that has just had a break of structure there, as you can see from this fall here. You'll be able to see it better on the 5 minute as it broke this structure here. And so now maybe that's going to continue up. If you go down to the 5 minute, you'll see it came up, it bounced, almost touched that, bounced, came down, bounced up, bounced down
Mm-hmm.
again, went up, come down, bounced, almost went through it. And now it's caused a break of structure. So that could be a trade. It's got these two bearish ones here.
Yeah. Sorry, the break of structures that you mentioned, they run off of the 15-minute chart, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, they do. So, but the only reason I sometimes go to the 5 is that when you see here, you're going, well, which candle was the break of structure? And because in a 15-minute candle, there are 3 5-minute candles and 5 3-minute candles, right? So you can actually go down another bit, and then you clearly see that was a little raise up there. So that was a lower high. And whereas that would be just one candle on the 15-minute, right? So I just identify them by going down to there. And you can clearly see the break of structure there, which is why I do that. It's just, and I don't have to do it always, but sometimes. I mean, I'm used to it now. So, if I really want clarity, I go down a time frame and just have a look at that. Peanut apparently has had another one. Was it just Peanut? That's been doing quite well. Look, so that Peanut's been coming in kind of all day. Again, look at that fair value gap acting as support all the way. Then it fell through it. And now it's just had another little break of structure. So maybe it'll come down and continue up. So there are coins, and there's lots of bearish ones as well, obviously, in this particular market. RAD, hang on a minute. RAD, do we have RAD on mine? No, I'll have to go to another exchange. Let's use Binance. And you can see that's definitely had a break of structure to come under here. And there's your fair value gap. So if that continues down, it's kind of grinding up a little bit though, isn't it? So it could have an up before a down here. It all depends on this fella. What is this fella doing? And as you can see, it's just now bobbing along. It's just bobbing along. It's kind of had its little go back above this point of control, and it's now just bobbing along. So I know for some people it's like a difficult market, and sometimes it is, but believe me, there are always those coins, and you can tell here more by the size of the gaps, right? So if we go back to bullish just for a second, they're fairly small gaps, right?
Yeah.
move for 20 minutes ago. This was the one that I was stopped out in earlier today, oddly enough. Let me have a look. Du- du- du. Yeah, I was just stopped out early my morning, but that's just had a break of structure here, and now you can see it's dropped right into that fair value gap and formed a bearish fair value gap there. So, but again, it's kind of stepping up, but a bigger gap, right? But you can have gaps with like 7 point something percent, and there we had that's the one that Becco rode up yesterday, was it? I forget what it was called now. But what was it called? MB? Was it MBL?
ACH.
Oh, ACH. Yeah, right. ACH. I don't know what that's done today. See, it had that huge rise up. Right. I've still got that on the chart where we first brought it in. And that's when you first got that break of structure, smallish break of structure. Then it came in. Then we got another break of structure alert, right? After it started to go up. So that would have been, and Becco got the perfect entry on that, didn't he? Because he was monitoring it. But you can see just how much these fair value gaps, they do get support. That gets respected so much because it's a massive break of structure. So it just come in and pings it rather than going all the way through it. And then it just continues its journey. But it's
is that a head and shoulders?
Yeah. I mean, I tend not to use
head and shoulders at
that.
all.
Yeah, I don't use that stuff now, but I'm not necessarily in a trade long enough to care.
Yeah,
Are you
true.
with me? I mean, it's the thing about day trading is that even if I get tired later in a day and I've got a trade open and I'm halfway towards my profit target, I just end the trade because I don't want to sit there watching it. So, and I don't bother looking if it's shot up another 20%. I don't care. But you can see now it's come back all the way back down to this fair value gap again, and it's holding. If we go down to the 5 minute, you might get a clearer view. No, you don't. So it is the 15 minute that's doing it. So it's sort of come halfway into this fair value gap. But so we'll just have to see. But yeah, so there have been trades, but that's not been the big news of the day. DeepSeek is the game changer. So you can download it on your phone. I can't show it because my phone is currently my camera.
Yeah.
Dead easy to find. And
did they stop did they stop users from creating new accounts? I thought I saw something about that.
I don't know if I created an account. Oh yeah, I did. I know I did. It's down here. Look, yeah, I must have done. But I've had this account for a while because I was introduced to this a few weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah. Well, didn't they just release V3 in like December?
Yeah. So V3 and R1 is the latest thinking version of that V3, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's taken the market by storm. And there are two papers, the GitHub one, which is the research on, no, that's not that. Sorry, I'm in the wrong place. This one, which is their document about it, their research paper, and then this is the R1 version of that paper. And anybody who loves digging into all this stuff, you can figure it all out. Now, some are trying to say that the reason that they've been claiming that it was done on less powerful GPUs is they're saying, no, I bet you they've had the powerful GPUs, but they can't tell us because they're sanctioned. Are you with me? So they're not allowed to own up to it. I think this is kind of hopium from the US's point of view, that some very smart people in this company. There's a little bit more news actually, and I haven't got anything on here, but don't let me forget. There's some more news about the DeepSeek company.
Okay.
Is that I think there's some hoping on the fact of that the Americans going, they can't possibly crack this nut, right? And we didn't, right? Get over yourself. They did, and the fact that they've open sourced it, they're going, here's the proof. Download the code, go through every line of code and figure it out.
I'm just
they're
curious.
not hiding anything.
Why would they do that though? I mean, like, how would they monetize at some point down the road if they plan to expand and grow operations?
I suspect it's going to be very good for the company that wrote it. They're going to get contracts galore, right?
Oh yeah, true,
So
true.
you know what I mean? It's in exactly the same way that Ethereum, right? The EVM is all open source, and hence why people fork Bitcoin. Bitcoin's open source, but Buterin earns loads of money from consultancy and God knows what else, and the projects that you build on top of that as the foundation underneath of which you build, right? So DeepSeek now will probably be building lots of apps, and that brings me onto the final news to do with this company. The one thing that they've also released, and I forgot to put a link to this because I'm not sure they've got it open yet. They've effectively released also using the same technology, an image generation tool, and it looks pretty damn good. To go up against DALI and to go up against Midjourney and all these other ones.
Mm.
So I mean, it's they've just cracked a nut, right? They've made a leap forward. So if this is the Sputnik moment, maybe America's always been known. Back in the day when we wrote computer games, when the language C came out, um, we were writing in machine code, and then C came out, and all the Americans went to C, and they needed the computers to be faster because C compilers at the time weren't very efficient. We remained in machine code, eking out every cycle of the data cycle to get them fast. So our games were faster. After 10 years or so, it didn't matter because the processors were so fast and the compilers were so efficient, didn't make any difference.
Mm-hmm.
But these guys have clearly thought about it. They effectively, the old phrase, how do you fit a quart into a pint pot, right? And that's what they've done. And
Hey,
we
that's
used to have
just
to,
yeah. Wasn't that the same thing with NFTs too? About it, there's like the size of it is quite limited, and there's only so much you can do with an NFT because of that constraint.
yeah, right. And you and I know because of the stuff I've written that you know about, right? There's so much more you can do with the NFT technology or smart contract technology, right? Where an NFT maybe is the top of it. An NFT can own a smart wallet. That smart wallet can own protected assets, right? How do we know this? Because we've written it, right? And so there's so much more utility around NFTs. So yeah, initially they were a PFP, and the artwork was really important, but that's kind of all gone by the by, hasn't it?
So
But,
DeepSeek R1 could essentially go into that code and just completely optimize it.
you can literally download it. Like the one thing that they don't allow, right? And again, this is China. If you ask DeepSeek to tell you about Tiananmen Square, it will not
Fair,
talk
that's
about it.
fair.
It won't talk about it. But the fact is that the model, they trained this on $5.5 million, whereas it took 60 million and 3 months or something for OpenAI to do their training and all these massive computers. These guys have done it, like with somebody riding a bicycle to power a battery. Do you know what I mean? They've done it on next to nothing. So it's you've got to take your hat off to them. Smart young people, love it, absolutely love it. I don't know if there's anything else I was going to. Maybe this is it. Yeah, sorry, I did. It's called Janus, and it's a multimodal system where they're showing you how it competes against the other models, right? And these are some of the images that it's starting to produce now. The ones on the right are the new models. So the old one, the new one, they're getting pretty good with text and everything. Same company, text to image. So, they're. I think this DeepSeek has made a name for themselves overnight.
Yeah, overnight celebrity.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're going to come out of the woodwork, but they're going to be worth a lot of money. Imagine if they ask for investment in their business now. People will be flying to them, right? Absolutely flying to them. So anyway, an amazing day, just an amazing day. Yeah, so this was again, somebody tweeted it. That's how we found out about this model. It goes up against OpenAI's DALI 3 and all of this stable diffusion, all this stuff. It's kind of incredible, right? It's kind of incredible. And the fact that they only started it because they had these GPUs for mining crypto, and they had spare capacity.
Yeah. Yeah, I want. That's curious. I want to look more into that actually. But
Yeah. Fascinating. So, an amazing day. I know we've not talked about trading that much, but it has affected the trading, right? And it's
mhm.
affected the entire stock market. So, let's see what the aftermath of this will be, and how it will affect share prices. I mean, Nvidia, I'm sure, will recover, but they took a massive, it's like the biggest hit of any tech company over one night, when market opens, the drop of ever, apparently, like in
Mhm.
one day. So,
Well,
but then again, people were saying that Nvidia was overcharged. They were just skyrocketing to the moon, right?
yeah.
Can't go on forever. Just can't go on forever. So it's so yeah. So that's the market biz.
Cool.
Very interesting day.
Yeah, no, indeed, indeed. So yeah, I mean, if anyone has time, probably good to brush up on what's going on with, especially with DeepSeek.
Yeah.
It's just funny how everything is just so related to each other, but who ever would have known the gravitation that one company would have had just by releasing something open source? That's
A game changer, not just like another. Oh, here's another chatbot, right?
mm,
Here's an amazing chatbot that you can run on, like you can run on your MacBook almost. So if you want to get to it, deepseek.com, just sign up. It's free. you know, you can stop paying for Claude if you want. I mean, it is as good. From what I'm going to keep testing it over the next couple of days. But if it keeps being as good, now the one thing I will say is that sometimes, specifically today, the whole world has woken up to this, and so
mm,
sometimes it says to you, "We're a bit busy," you know.
mm,
It happened to me. I opened a new chat and it went away. Actually, I had another chat and it kept saying, "We're a bit busy. Come back later." So I opened a brand new chat and trained it again, and it in R1, and you have to click. You can't see this. I don't know if you can see this on my screen because I'm sharing my screen, but
yeah.
you've got to click that. You've got to click that blue button at the bottom there where it says Deep Think R1. So you click that on. If not, you're not on R1, right? You're on L3. So
Well, I'm
you just
using
click.
the mobile app and updating. It doesn't show that it doesn't show blue, but it does show DeepThink R1 on the bottom left.
Yeah, it's probably on by default. But
Okay.
anyway, it's kind of incredible.
Yeah,
Kind of
no,
incredible.
totally. Wow.
That they have just literally come from nowhere with this, like literally. Fascinating stuff. So everybody, just go check it out. It's free. It's
Yeah,
free.
totally. Cool.
You know,
Well, yeah, I guess that's it for today. Well, it's really cool to see how this one app has taken the crypto and in traditional finance by storm. If you guys haven't done so already, give us a follow. Crypto Hub HQ. Twitter only has 15 followers, but if people want to get access to the insights for free, all that we ask is give us a follow. Take your Twitter handle, plug it into our chat to verify. We'll get you a member role right away. And if you also didn't follow our YouTube, give us a follow there. We're also live on Twitch, X obviously, and YouTube, X, Twitch. So anyway, look, three platforms is good. But if you have time, to give us a follow. Any support would help. And we will be back tomorrow. I'm not gonna say same time. I'm gonna say we will be back tomorrow.
I'm with you, folks. I was sat waiting, folks. Just so you know.
Sorry. Anyways, look, apologies for that. Okay. Anyways, thank you everyone for watching. That's it. I'm your host Biz with Andy, co-founder of Crypto Hub, and we'll be back again tomorrow. Peace out, everybody.
Happy trading. See you, everybody.